All right, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. How we doing out there? Doc and Mav with you here, Ready, Set, Crypto. Today is Wednesday, the 30th of March. Welcome aboard. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you could, please. Let's get ourselves started out on today's session. And we'll get started here real soon. Once everybody gets in here, let us know where you're coming in from. And we'll get started real quick. All right. We have ADA Fox coming in from Australia. Welcome. Good to see you.
Morning.
Hey, Rajith. Good to see you again. Hey, Koob. What's happening? Albuquerque. We got Colorado coming in. Michael, outstanding. How you doing out there, Mav? What's going on in your world?
Oh, just having a little bit of fun watching the markets do what they do. Getting ready for, if anyone is in the States, I will be at Bitcoin 2022 next week, which should be fun. Checkmate is also going to be there for those in the ReadySetCrypto, ReadySetVision communities. So should be a party. But yeah, I think it's a good indication as to where we are as an industry and kind of where the markets are right now. I think people are hungry to see stuff kind of moving upward, getting over what has been the start of 2022. And, it's been sort of a nothing burger, really. We've just been going sideways. So I think we're ready for things to move upward, which is obviously indicative of the title of today's stream, and hopefully is what everyone is wanting to discuss. But yeah, how are things in your world, Doc? What are you seeing?
As you guys know, range contraction leads to range expansion. So that's what I'm looking for here, is that we've been basically since the beginning of 2021, we've been in a consolidation pattern, a big one. And most recently, everybody's looking at this sort of bear market since November. This actually started back in the spring. We've been consolidating since April of 2021. So we've been putting it, this is not what I would call a true bear market. This is more of a consolidation, more of a holding pattern. Like we've got up to that altitude and we need to make sure that we can hold on to that altitude before we start to go higher. It's the same concept as people that climb Everest go up through different base camps, right? So they acclimate to the new altitude and hang around up there. And if they're not comfortable, they'll come back down again and reestablish themselves at that next camp until they're ready and, set to go in advance to the next level. So I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Well said. All right. So I'm going to quickly jump into three reasons I'm speculating. Obviously, I don't know the future, but, looking backwards as best as possible to predict the future as best as possible. I think what we can do immediately is start to look for similarities as to, like what happened last year, what precluded upward moves in the alts of the market, and are we seeing similar conditions right now that would be indicative of altcoins kind of, taking the baton from Bitcoin and starting their run upwards. So one of the best indicators, I think, for looking at this is the perp. That's the altcoin index perpetual futures on FTX. This tracks a basket of altcoins. And I'm sorry, I should be zooming in on this. This is tracking a basket of altcoins with a weighted average of prices for ETH, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, BNB, Litecoin, Ripple, TRX, Dot, Link, and Cardano. And so what this tells us, or what this gives us a good idea as to what's going on here, is basically, what are the altcoins doing? The most powerful ones, if you want to put it that way. And I mean the most established ones. That's why you're not seeing like the meme ones, or you're not seeing some of the like NFT metaverse stuff. These guys have been around for a while. And what we saw last year, for example, like coming right out of summer into the tail end of July, into August, which again was precluded going into like September, October, November, and early December, which were pretty strong comparatively. Obviously not as strong as the tail end of 2020, and into 2021, but still was a very good move in the alts. This is what we saw, and while right now what we're seeing is, definitely something promising, it's very indicative of what we saw before. It could easily be what we've seen over and over again for the past couple months, where it gets started and then it gets crushed downwards. So it really is in a sort of, we're at the precipice, if you will, right with what Doc was saying. We're at that sort of testing period to see if it can break higher, if we can really have a run like we've seen in the past, or if this will just kind of evaporate in terms of momentum. So another one that's maybe a simpler version of that is kind of just a simpler tracking of this question of, is it Bitcoin season, or is it altcoin season, or is it somewhere in between? Right now, it's definitively Bitcoin season, which is obviously it's sort of the opposite of what this stream is about, asking the question of, is it altcoin season or whatever? But I think one thing, if you go back to a couple streams ago, this is a point I make over and over again, because we've seen it over and over, this pattern repeated over and over again in the crypto markets, is that when we see a bull run, that what precludes a altcoin move, an altcoin dominated move, is that we'll start somewhere in the middle and then it will go down into Bitcoin's favor. So, something like this, where it's very Bitcoin dominated market, very much all about, the big daddy Bitcoin. And then something happens, some sort of catalyst or just a general shift in momentum, and bam, we reverse right into altcoins. Sometimes that plays out over months, sometimes that plays out over days. That's just the nature of kind of the dynamic between Bitcoin and altcoins. But generally, we see Bitcoin strength precede a altcoin move. And that's what we're hopefully seeing right now, is when the stronger the Bitcoin move, the stronger that it is Bitcoin season, the stronger the reverse is true, the stronger that it becomes altcoin season. So this is just kind of the nature of these markets and what they do. Something else I want to draw your attention to, if I can get this Zoom to stop doing these things, is the fear and greed index. This is another great indicator as it relates to just general market sentiment. And I think this is an easy way to kind of see where the market's at sentiment-wise, the sort of emotions driving the market moves. And if we look backwards over the past 2 years, but especially the past year, coming out of 2020 into 2021 was, as I said, one of the strongest moves we've ever seen in crypto. And then that was immediately followed by the April through July, sort of summer lull, where NFTs were coming out as not the next big thing, or not what they promised. So there's this general fear, just miasma of darkness and blood in the streets, if you will, during last summer. We got down to scores of like 19, 20, 10 in terms of sentiment, and then immediately once we got out of this general little funk, immediately went into a relatively strong altcoin season, and then bam, right back down to another sort of period of just general fear in the streets, people selling at the bottom, that kind of stuff. And hey, maybe we're repeating history here. This looks very similar just from a sentiment wise, not even looking at the price, even though this is what this chart is correlating, is the sentiment against the price. If we just look at the sentiment of the markets, if we look at the color of these dots here, things are pretty similar. And I think that plays out, that tracks very well to where we are right now, in terms of what's the overall market narrative. We've seen almost a whole quarter of just general market nothing. And, there's been fear about inflation and interest rates. There's been fear about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. There's been fear of, supply chain issues and coming out of pandemic and all this sort of stuff. And ultimately, I think that's getting I don't know, beaten down against this just general feeling from people of like, okay, enough fear already, enough of that. Let's move ahead. Let's get back to things being good. Yes, there's obviously problems with stuff, but that doesn't mean we have to just be sitting on our thumbs about it. We can be investing in the future. We can be investing in innovation and progress, and we can be embracing those things as solutions to some of these big issues that we're facing. So yeah, there are people calling for, a recession, a depression, if you will. There are people calling for, go strongly into those sort of inflation hedge or, risk off sort of assets like gold or bonds or whatever you can get into that is more stable. And then there's the exact opposite sort of market move going on right now where, no, it's going into risk on assets. It's, Bitcoin's going higher. Altcoins are showing propensity towards maybe having some strength. And I think that's just the general feelings of, just the general number one rule of the market is that it exists to get the most people on the wrong side of things. People keep getting convinced that the doom and gloom is the new narrative, and they keep getting proved wrong. The bears keep having their shorts eaten, over and over again. And yes, they are right that things are concerning on multiple levels. But at the same time, who are they to stand against, what is effectively the future and effectively the frustration of our entire society after 2 years of being, told we can't do things. The economy is not in the right state. Supply chains are, at issue and things like that. I think people are tired of that. So they're ready to move on in some ways. So you have very big dynamic forces, unstoppable force, an immovable object in some ways. But like, I think this is where there will be lots of this combative nature in 2022. It's not going to be just an up and up and up or down and down and down kind of market. It is going to be fighting back and forth throughout this year, but that's okay. I think we're on the right side of where things are going, especially with a nice diversified approach. So, Doc, I think it's over to you from this point on, but yeah, what do you see in the markets today? Are you seeing sort of the relative strength enough to sustain this move, or you think we're going to fall back down to like the 40s or maybe even the 30s?
I think it looks pretty good because to your point, sorry about the voice here, guys. I'm just getting over a little frog, but your point about the risk that's out there and all the bad news and everything like that. What happens is the market is always going to discount forward. So markets do not operate on today's news. They operate on what's going to be happening 6 to 9 months from now. So if you look at risk assets, they actually bottomed on February 24th, which was the invasion of Ukraine. So it didn't get any worse than that because that was new information that was not already discounted in, and that caused a reset. But boom, right after that, away we go. So markets are very forward looking. And this is one thing that retail traders don't get because they're always trading on today's news, but the market has absorbed that months ago. It doesn't care. It's already past that point. It's kind of like the joke that you heard 6 months ago. You already get it. You know what the punchline is. It's boring, right? Move on. So the market is always discounting. It's always a forward discounting move. All right. So let's go into our charts here. Let's take a look. You guys have done me a great service of populating a lot of requests here. I'm just going to start off with Bitcoin really quick here. This is, we've had a really nice move from 38,000 up to 48,000. I mean, 10 grand in just a couple of weeks. That's a good move. And it's done so very nicely, but it's in exhaustion right now. So I would anticipate, and it's already started this, so little volatility coil here. This would be really good. Now, I'd like to see this ascending triangle hold up at about 45,000 as support. So the price can go back down here, but I'd like to see 45,000 hold up as support. Otherwise, if it stays above there, consolidates, lets the energy get up here, then I think we have good things going. All right, I'm just going to bang through the list that I got here for you guys. So Zilliqa is obviously a big one. People talking about this. This is gone berserk here. Now, I'm not going to comment on the project or why this is happening. I don't really care why this is happening. It's happening, though, and it's real. What makes it real? Look at the volume. Look at the volume, guys. The volume is way above the average volume. So this is people getting blown out of their positions if they're short, right? And you've got the polarity switch. This is all good. Now, I wouldn't just jump on here. I would wait until this consolidates. Never chase after a chart like a dog chasing after a car, because it's going to be the same result. Wait until the next pullback. Wait until the next consolidation where the energy goes back up again. And then that's your entry point. Okay, next one is Atom, which I think is Cosmos. Let's see if I got this right. Yep. Yeah, Cosmos is doing okay. We've got our aggressive buy point up here at about 34. We're going to wait until this starts to show a transition to an uptrend. Okay, that's what I see on Cosmos. Algo, I haven't looked at this one in a long time. Algorand. Okay, Algorand to me is still the very first aggressive buy point that I would look for on this would be something above this level here, maybe about 1.1. It's still in a downtrend. This is still a lower high. I'm not going to chase after this thing until it proves it to me that it wants to be heading higher. It wants to be under accumulation. The rest of the market is being accumulated. Everything must be held up to the same standard. VeChain. VET. Okay, so we got a nice move here. We've broken the descending trend line, broken above this pivot, which is 7 cents. So anything above here is good. It's in exhaustion right now. I would wait for this to settle down, flag out, build up the energy again, and then you're good to go on the next pivot break from there. That is VeChain. All right, Cardano. I've been throwing lots of shade at Cardano for a long time because the chart's been terrible, but it's almost at the point of trying to break out above this cup here. Little cup pattern, trying to break out. It's finally got it. So it's had a good month. And so that would be the very first aggressive buy point would be somewhere up here at about $1.25. It's getting there. Okay. A little bit of respect. Okay. Harmony. I have not looked at this one in a long time. Harmony is also right at a point where I'd consider a buy point there at about 17 to 18 cents on Harmony. Okay. Very, very first aggressive buy point. Decred. I have not looked at Decred in a while. Decred's been in a terrible funk for a long period of time. Okay, for Decred, I would want to get back in. I would want to go long in this, and we'd have to structure this here probably like right there. Okay, so it's got to break this trend line, and I would say it's got to get above this line here. If you're still holding this as a bag, hang on. But if you want to get long into this one, I would say wait until it hits 80 and then take that one. That's Decred. So here's Thorchain. Thorchain has been screaming lately. This has been awesome. All right. So we've had, for our members, we've had both the aggressive buy and the conservative buy hit, and we're just trailing stops at this point. Don't chase after it. It's in exhaustion. Wait till this comes back. Always wait for something to come back to you. But this looks really good. I like Thorchain on the next entry. Okay, let's see. FTT. Again, we're starting to get into some of the ones that we have not seen for a while. FTT looks pretty good right here. I would say, again, we're going to see the same. I feel like I'm saying the same thing again and again here, but this strong move, this is range expansion, goes to range contraction. So wait for this to flag out. Wait for this to adjust to the new altitude and take a breakout from there if it's going to do it, right? Or you can go for the pullback either. If it does it, you just never know whether it's going to pull back or whether it's just going to break out. Okay, let's see. XIDO, I do not have any way to chart that. XIDO. I thought this was originally Walmart, but this is World Mobile Token, and we do have it on. We do have it on here. It's so new, it doesn't really have any trend yet. I would wait until, if I'm not already into this one, I would wait until this gets above 79 cents to enter, because that would be the resumption of the uptrend. Okay, GLMR, what is this, Glimmer or something? Okay, tough to remain positive on this one. This is, it's a brutal chart. So it's crawling around here. I'd like to see some more volume on this. Look, you got the rest of the market's been screaming higher for the last 2 weeks, and this one is barely getting off the floor. I would wait until this one establishes itself a little bit better. So right now, there's not a whole great value equation on that one. Don't take it personally. This is not my critique on your coin. Don't personalize it, right? It's just what the price action's telling me. This is Gala, and I'm looking at an aggressive buy point here at about 40 cents for this too. Similar story here. This is not a great chart, but if it's able to break out over 40 cents, then I like it a lot better. Okay, CNS, Centric. What's going on with Centric? Now, I noticed the volume is starting to really rip up here, but nothing's happening with the price. Nothing's happening with the price, so I'm not getting a great feeling on this one. This one was a big mover back here, but people are dumping it. People are dumping it for a reason. It's not my read on this. It's not my opinion. It's the price's opinion. It's the market's opinion that nobody cares about CNS right now. Sorry. And finally, we have SNX versus Tether. And this one's this is Synthetics Network. And today we're getting an aggressive buy coming in here at about 6. And the volume is coming up as well, too. Okay, we got, all right. Let's see. We have a few more that have come in here. We'll try to accommodate you guys here. XTZ, let's go for Tezos. I haven't looked at Tezos for a while because it has been terrible, all right? So, again, Tezos is just coming off the bottom, and it's just starting to break out here. I still would want to see Tezos break above 450 before I would take a position in this, because right now it's still relatively weak. All right, LRC. Okay, LRC, we've got an aggressive buy on this one for LRC. And it looks like we're just about hitting a conservative buy on this one as well, too. So this is what loop ring token, right? So that's, it's starting to move, and that's good. We're also starting to see some volume pickup on this one as well. Let's see. We did, ICP. I haven't seen ICP for a while. Let's take a look here. What's going on with ICP? Okay. It is also, this is a tough one because this one was so hyped and it just got drilled so hard. So it is starting to come off the bottom. I'd still would not enter this until it starts to trend above 38 for me, for ICP. Okay, CWAR. Cryo War. I can't chart this. It's not moving. Sorry, guys. If it's not moving, I can't chart it. There's no price discovery in this. There's nothing going on here. There's nobody moving the price around. So I apologize if you have a bag in there, but it's just not moving, guys. Okay, let's go to lithium versus Tether. And this is not great, right? The rest of the market is just screaming higher lately. We got some volume and it got destroyed. It got shorted back down. I would say still avoid until it's able to trade above a cent, until it's able to get over 1 cent. So that's lithium. TKV, or no, TVK. TVK. Well, you guys are giving me the best ones here. I would say I would avoid this until it gets over 17 cents, because that would be the resumption of the uptrend on TVK. So I'd still have this one on avoid. You do not need to chase after stuff, guys. Let's go to Jules, which is DeFi Kingdoms. Okay, this is starting to move. This is a fairly new coin. This is starting to move, and you can see now with this move here, we've had a change in polarity to an uptrend at this point. Now we also have exhaustion, so I would wait for the next consolidation. If it's actually doing the stair-stepping thing, that's good. That's very good price action. So this one is starting to wake up after a deep slumber for a short period of its life here. Okay. Polygon. This is one that we've been following lately, Matic. And let's see, this one is, yeah, I would say this is an aggressive buy point right there at $1.70. That's an aggressive buy point if it's able to get out and over there, because you can see that here's the former downtrend with lower highs and lower lows, puts in a higher low and then a higher high, and it breaks this trend line. So those are all the kind of things that we're looking for. And there you go. So there's no guarantee anything's going to happen. There's a little bit of low energy value here, but this looks to be healing itself. So optimistic on Matic for right now. Okay, let's see. A couple more here, and the voice is just about gone. So, all right, let's see. KSM. KSM versus Tether. Here's another one, which is, it is in the process of healing. Okay, so it's, I'd still want to have this trade over 200. Show me that you want accumulation in your coin. You know, we don't know what the future holds. And so all we can do is look at the price and say, what is the price telling me about supply and demand and price discovery for this? So go ahead and take out 200 and then show me that you want to trend up near the highs again, which in this case was about 520. That's just still a long way to go, right? You don't have to get the bottom tick of this. There's no medals given out for the bottom tick. Let somebody else take the knives down here with the smart money. Okay, we've already done Glimmer. Okay, let's see. One last one. Tuna. I have no tuna. Let's see. Was there a band? There was a band versus Tether. Okay, and this one is also doing the same thing. It's almost the same pattern here, guys. Everything's the same pattern. So this one, I would say 550 is the level that I would want to see before I get into this, because there's your higher low and there's your higher high. That's a transition into an uptrend. This is what I've been pounding on the table for months now, guys, is don't chase after these things down at the bottom. You can just simply wait for them to start trending higher. I like buying things that are heading higher in price. That's just me. I don't like buying things that are heading lower in price. Losers average down. That's an old saying that's been around forever in the financial markets. And there you go. Thanks, everybody.
We have arrived.
We have arrived.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. As always, check the links down in the bio below for some of our communities. Doc runs Ready Set Trade, which is an excellent way to up your trading game. And if you're at all interested in trading the public markets, you know, equities, trading options, and getting ready for that when that eventually comes to crypto, I think that is definitely something worthwhile. Definitely is worth putting a little bit of time and energy into understanding, if no other reason, to understand what's happening during days like today. Being able to read charts like Doc does definitely is something to look into. Otherwise, we have ReadySetCrypto, which is all about helping you up your your crypto game. We have a free Discord for you to join and come chat with us about what's going on in the crypto space, and do so in a non-shilling way. We also have ReadySet Vision, which is about on-chain analysis, looking at the big macro picture of what's going on and being able to outsmart the markets by using statistical modeling and predictions, and, you know, basically just being able to use data to make decisions more effectively than your average retail trader. So yeah, we are here to help you throughout wherever this market goes. And hopefully we see things move in a manner that is both exciting, but, you know, is going to be sustainable. Because
well, it's all about the process, right? It's, you know, like everybody else is throwing you out there just like nuggets and stuff like that. And we're all about the process. There is a process behind doing this professionally. There's a process behind, you know, having an approach and knowing what you're doing. It's rolling out a system, and that's what we do. Process and system. We're not about just throwing you out the latest, you know, greatest thing that's out there. Hey, look at this coin and look at that coin. No, there's a process behind everything that we do. So, learn the process, and you've learned this for life, and then you're set. That's all there is to it, right?
Well said. Yeah. And I think that's definitely going to help you no matter where the market goes from here. It's keeping you honest to yourself as to, hey, time to take some profits, or hey, maybe time to let go of those bags, let them ride into the sunset, So don't repeat the mistakes that you might have made last year or in 2017. Learn from them, and we're here to help with that. But as always, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see where things are. I'll be reporting again from Miami next week, so it should be fun. Look forward to hanging out with you guys if you're there. But otherwise, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. And yeah, we'll see you hopefully above Bitcoin 50K. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya. Everybody be good now.